So Riveting Fight Club. This is a deck around fight rigging combo of using fight rigging here for 3 mana, get an enchantment with Hideaway 5. Once when this enters the battlefield, you'll get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, pick one, exile it face down. You're always able to know what the card is, but your opponent won't be able to. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you get to put +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then, if you control a creature with power 7 or greater, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. So we combo this with the Shakedown Heavy. For 3 mana, when Shakedown Heavy attacks, or your opponent may choose to untap it, and it'll remove from combat and you draw a card. The main reason we use this is because it has a base power of 6 for 3 mana, meaning that we can go fight rigging, find whatever card we may want, then bring down Shakedown Heavy, be able to put the counter on it, and immediately get fight rigging to trigger. And the goal of this combo is we can go fight rigging into the Tarrasque, and the Tarrasque is a 10/10 creature that, as long as we cast it, it will have Ward 10 and Haste. Fight rigging allows us to cheat the card into play as a free cast, meaning your opponent does have the opportunity to counterspell it, but if they don't have any type of counterspells, that means that you have a potential 10/10 Haste creature that's Ward 10, meaning if your opponent wants to target it, they have to pay an additional 10 mana in order to target this card, otherwise the spell or effect will be counterspelled or countered. The Tarrasque here also has the extra functionality that when it attacks, it fights a creature defending player's controls, meaning that it will deal it'll deal damage to a creature your opponent controls. They deal damage back, but this is all assigned before blockers. So you could, if they only have like one blocker, you can fight it and still get the 10 damage through, let alone what other creatures you may have that's attacking on the board. Now, I took the combo a little bit further by also including a Ziatora, the Incinerator, where at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Ziatora, the Incinerator, deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasure tokens. Granted, I only have this at 1 copy in the deck, but this means that if we end up with Ziatora on the board, and we get the Tarrasque to go off, if Tarrasque manages to attack, connect, for 10 damage, we can then sacrifice it to Ziatora and make the opponent immediately lose an extra 10 life. So that in itself is lethal to an opponent as long as they haven't gained any life. We also have another card to go to is Turntimber Symbiosis. So with fight rigging triggering, we can play this card also. So we're going to look at the top 7 cards of our library and may put a creature from among them onto the battlefield. If it has mana value 3 or less, we can put an additional 3+1/+1 counters on it. The rest of the cards go onto the bottom in a random order. Now, the only drawback to using Turntimber Symbiosis is if we use this to pull out the Tarrasque, it won't have the Ward 10, it won't have the Haste. So your opponent can still potentially target it. But with Turntimber Symbiosis, we could also bring out Ziatora, we could bring out the Battle Mammoth, or even Junji. Now, we are running Junji in the deck because it does have a death trigger that we can bring back any non-dragon card from any graveyard to the battlefield under our control at the cost of 2 life. So this death trigger does mean that if we end up with a Tarrasque that we discarded to a Fable the Mirror Breaker, we have the ability to potentially reanimate it if Junji is on the board and dies. That's a general idea of the combos in the deck. The removals that we're using is Strangle, Unleash the Inferno, and Shadow's Verdict. So we'll go ahead and hop into games and see how well it works. And this is a little bit of an awkward hand, but we do have lots of removal. Just the draw of 1 more land allows us to play them. I think we can take the risk on it. The nice thing is we do have the fight rigging. The only drawback is we don't have any creatures yet. I think I may need to include some other earlier creatures in the deck to help trigger the fight rigging here. I will just play this as our land tapped. This way we don't have to pain ourselves for 3 to play it later. Now, we're against the enchantment deck, which Unleash the Inferno actually is potentially really strong against, because he deals 7 damage to a creature or planeswalker excess damage dealt this way allows us to destroy an artifact or enchantment opponent controls. Mana value less than or equal to the amount of excess damage. So let's go red with this. Bring out the fight rigging. There's the Tarrasque. Sadly, we had to put a 2 of our 6 power creatures onto the bottom of the deck. So it might be a little bit of time before we actually draw the creature for that. Let's see, if an opponent goes for a Showdown of the Skalds right now, that means we can use Unleash the Inferno, kill like the Generous Visitor, and destroy the Skalds. Alright. But if they go with the idea of just pumping these up by playing a whole bunch of these rune cards, we'll just destroy the Generous Visitor with Inferno and use the other ability to destroy the Naturalist. Alright, I'm just going to call it there on the spells they're playing. So, I think what we'll do... We'll pass it back. Because this is the instant speed spell. We can do it anytime. There's that Showdown. Alright, I'm going to do this now before they have the chance to play a Forest and then have the mana ready for a protection spell. Unfortunately, they did hit this little combo here. Let's go... Binding. Get rid of Naturalist. Play the Proving Grounds, and we pass it back. Or making it that way the opponent has to choose whether they want to play the Showdown of the Skalds or this Ringforged Champion here. They'll probably play Showdown. And they hit Showdown to another Showdown. Wow, this opponent. Alright, we'll grab a Proving Grounds. I guess we'll get another red source. And we get rid of both of these again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have enough to Turntimber. That's unfortunate that they hit that. Which means that we need to be able to get a creature so that we can get this Tarrasque going. Oh, there we go. That's perfect. So, play Mammoth. Fight Rigging Trigger. Get the Tarrasque. And get the Naturals off the board and have a Ward 10 monster. Alright. The crazy thing is, we did swing in and deal 10 damage to the opponent, and we only just brought them back down to 20. They gained so much life. But the enchantment deck doesn't have any direct removal for this Tarrasque, so I don't know how they recover, other than potentially just going wide or making something obscenely large. But we've taken away most of their cards, so it's going to be hard for them to do that. But they have a Generous Visitor. They have Showdown active. So if they manage to go Generous Visitor into another Naturalist, so Naturalist number 3, they could potentially chain a whole bunch of spells and make something large enough that it would be hard to attack them with Tarrasque. Alright. Visitor. Kami, alright. Now, if they go for this to exile Mammoth, we still get a draw trigger. Let's see, so both these cards are going to get exiled, or I mean, stay in exile, since they didn't play them at this end step. Oh, this is cruel. All right, Shadow's Verdict. I don't know of anything that they can play outside of a sweeper, which not likely run in their deck to get back into this. Borrow Time gets rid of Mammoth. They have to bring another small creature to the board just to be a chump blocker. We'll take the draw. Oh, they actually took rid of Fight Rigging. They didn't actually take rid of the Mammoth. Well, that's a good game. I mean, Fight Rigging doesn't really help us anymore at this point. Yeah, that'll gain you 6 life, but we're going to still hit you for 11. This is assuming they block the Mammoth. Alright, well, let's just go and play this still. Let's see. Oh, another Tarrasque? Nah, we'll just decline it. Alright, well, there we go. Tarrasque definitely showing its power here. Alright, it's a burn-heavy hand with a Shadow's Verdict, so we'll be good against rush decks. So we'll keep it. If against a control deck, this is not a very good hand here. Well, get rid of that. So this is the white-blue spells creature deck. I mean, getting another Strangle against them isn't a bad thing, but we need land at this point. Alright, let's get rid of Clarion Spirit. Set up our Fight Rigging. There's the Tarrasque. So if we get one more land, we can bring out Junji. Junji will take 2 turns of growing from Fight Rigging before it will be able to activate. But I think as long as the opponent doesn't have a counterspell in hand, which I don't really see too many counter any spells in their deck that often. Fortunately, we whiff. We'll just pass turn holding up Unleash. We'll attempt. It's going to force him probably to play the protection from a color spell. Oh, Fading Hope. Okay. So they protect it by bouncing it back to their hand. We're actually kind of glad to see that they use Fading Hope there. Because that means that when we put Junji to the board, we don't have to worry about it necessarily getting bounced back to our hand immediately. Alright. So we're going to hurt ourselves a little bit. Bring Junji to the board. And if this sticks to the board, next turn we get the Tarrasque on board. And this Ward 10, I don't think the opponent can handle. Opponent's empty-handed, right? Getting the GGs. Oh, they didn't even get to see the Tarrasque. That's a shame. Alright, I kind of want to keep this just simply because we have the fight rigging. The only problem is we don't have a black source for these. I think we take the mulligan. Alright. A little worse, a little better. We'll put a Shadow's Verdict on the bottom. It's just not... Alright. So I get a little distracted by things on the side. We'll bring down the Proving Grounds and pass it back. That's why I was getting distracted by. Something was trying to pop up on the side there. I was trying to make sure it wasn't going to make audio. Alright. Let's see, we have Inferno to actually take that out. Just gonna be basically waiting for them to bring something else to the board that we like the idea of burning than just a 1/1 token. Alright. So, blitzing underdog. Getting their beats in while they can. Getting card draw. That's not ideal. I think I still play Binding of the Old Gods. Get rid of the wedding announcement right now. This way I can guarantee ourselves our 5th land next turn. Now, we won't be able to play the cards off the 5th land because they'll be in the play tapped. Alright. We really want to get this Shadow's Verdict off. Oh, alright. So, we can play the Shadow's Verdict. Grab this for our land. Get rid of lots of value off that. Alright, another Raffine. We'll bring Junji to the board. And bring this on a red. So, we actually can block this. Even if they discard a non-land, we can block and kill that. The only way we don't kill it is if they bring Wander into play. But Wander still won't let them kill Junji. So that, I guess they did that for a Desperation draw? Not entirely sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, okay, so they wanted to meet up. We'll just say... See... We could reanimate their Raffine, but I think it's better to tell them to discard 2 cards. Just hold the card advantage over them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're just 1 mana away from just casting the Tarrasque here. And unless they have a counterspell, Tarrasque will hit the board and be probably this unanswerable thing for the opponent. Alright, there's Wandering Emperor.
I am the Emperor of Control, and I will protect my people. We must protect the people.
Alright. That gets rid of Meatheth Massacre, so we don't have to worry about any more drain against us. I could have just used it to kill Wandering Emperor, but I figure I have the Strangle here. Alright, get the rigging. Now with rigging, there's no reason to go for another Tarrasque necessarily, right? So we'll go Junji. I mean, I could have gone for a Tarrasque, because that way if we did hit anything with a 6 power off the top that we could play instead of a land, we'd still just have the Tarrasque go at them.
I could sneak right by, but I'm itching to fight now. What do we have here?
Really? Discard that. Do you have an answer for our Tarrasque? Alright, we'll give him the GG's. There's nothing they can do to target this card. We get Junji from the fight rigging. So if they hit a board wipe, what we can do is we can actually use Junji to reanimate the Tarrasque.
Now this is a juicy secret.
This is actually one of the most competitive decks, and we kind of picked it apart really well. Like, I'm surprised how well we picked that one apart. Opponent did basically everything their deck was meaning to do. They played Wandering Emperor out there. They managed to sweep against us a little bit. They got Raffine going with some of those cards like Aspirant, Underdog, and we had answers for everything. Okay, so on the open, I think this is definitely a mulligan. Alright, this one's good because we have the color fixers here. We'll keep this. We'll put Turntimber on bottom. The hand's a little slow going, but that's going to be the average for our hands. Thankfully, we're on the play. We're probably against some black-red Obnixilis Sacrifice deck. Let's see, bring this down. We'll go for some Mirror Breakers instead of the Fight Rigging to start with. This is what's great about Unleash the Inferno. So, normally, we'll actually just discard one card here. Normally, you have to, use 2 different removal spells here, but this time, I only have to use 1, and I get to deal with both their token and their Fable. So that feels real good. Oh, opponent has green in their deck too. What are they then? They probably are still an Obnixilis deck, in all honesty. Alright, so we go for Fight Rigging. To Fight Rigging. Counter here, attack in. Go ahead and burn our treasures already for this Binding of the Old God, and keep them off Mirror Breaker. One, two, three, four, five. No blocks. Now, I'm betting the opponent has, like, Meat hooks. Yep, there's meat hook. I was gonna say a meat hook in their deck that they're gonna play right now. Let's see. Get this for our land. Play another Fable. So next turn we can actually bring down the Incinerator, and off the Incinerator we can hit Fight Rigging's trigger to get the other Fight Rigging. Alright. Opponent gets an Ob.
After 1,000,
And that one's gonna plus. Decline.
defy me, and you'll lose everything.
Discard this. Alright, I think it's still better to go... Is it better to go Ziatora or Battle Mammoth? If we go Battle Mammoth and they target for removal, we get draw. We also gain the benefit of trample. So I guess we'll go Battle Mammoth. Come on, Tarrasque. Nope. Grab Binding. Swing at this one. And that forces them to block. We're going to take a point of damage, as well as lose a life because of Meat Hook. Let's see. Looking at the fact that they're probably going to use another minus from the other Ob, plus on the one, so we're going to lose 2 life there. Actually, if they seek us down, they might just double plus. Alright, so they do go for the minus.
I have become my coin or carnage. Treat me, please, no.
Oh, this is a great draw. Question is, what do we want to get rid of more? The Meat Hook or the Seek's Chariot? Counter here. Counter here. Get this. Get rid of... Meat Hook. Attack. Which one's the token? This one's the token, right? Yeah, token Planeswalker. I want to get rid of the token instead of the main one. This way, if the opponent has another Ob in hand, they won't be able to use that one against us.
My empire crumbles.
I'm still debating whether I go for Ziatora here. We could still go Unleash the Inferno. Kill Ob, kill Chariot. I think we'll do that.
Don't think you're some big hero.
Let's see, if we block here... I'm going to give it the full block. Because there's a good chance the opponent just has another Meat Hook Massacre. And I don't want to give them the free damage. Because we'll lose life when their creature dies off them sweeping just to get rid of Kiki Jiki anyways. Yeah, see? Told you. Meat Hook. Alright, that's the last forced out of our deck. Hopefully we don't draw any more lands. Put one on here. Decline. So we're actually holding on board enough, or I mean on board, not holding, just on board we have lethal. An opponent can't bring out chump blockers because Battle Mammoth is a trampler. And at the end of combat, or end of turn, if Ziatora is still on board... Alright, so they use direct removal, we get a draw, they lose some life, gain some life. Fortunately, we drew another land. Fight rigging may actually lead to lethal. Yeah, so we go for... Doesn't matter which one we go for, but we may as well take the Shadow's Verdict. Actually, it does matter, because I don't think I killed him with this attack. This exiles... Oh no, I do kill him with this. Lethal on the... on... the dot there. Oh, yeah, there we go. So, another strong deck we take out. Red, white, green enchantments, white, blue spells, white, blue, black, connive, and we played against the black, red, green, Obnixilis deck. So, and all four of those are serious decks for how they operate. I think we're willing to keep this because we actually have Fable here. Not only can we create the treasure token in order to play these spells, but we do have the Tarrasque in hand that can be discarded to this. We aren't a full-on Reanimator deck, so discarding Tarrasque isn't super helpful, but it means that we at least have the ability to make use of it, and besides playing it. But knowing that we're against mono white here, or maybe even white red, we're going to need to get ourselves the black mana for these. All right, there's an Aspirant. Go ahead and foretell that. Alright, we got lucky that that was their land for the turn. Unfortunately, Thalia is bad luck. Means that we can't play this Mirror Breaker next turn. Pass it back. Thalia's tax is a real issue. Alright, looks like they're setting up mana. It's that way they play Wanderer this turn. But with how that resolved, I guess they're just trying not to overcommit to the board. Alright, Brutal Cathar takes away our token, unfortunately. We kind of wanted that. Is there any way for us to stay alive here? I don't think there is. Because they have lethal on board. The tax actually is keeping us from playing Shadow's Verdict. We needed that token. Yep, they get us because they taxed us out of this game. Thalia doing Thalia things.
Thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to join me while I stream, you can find me on Twitch, the link below. I hope to see you again in the next video and have a nice one.